So, Makuyeika Colectivo Teatral is a theater ensemble that is dedicated to telling the narratives of Mexico's original peoples, as well as incorporating their theatricalities into the Mexican theater scene. Andares is a piece that brings together three different people from across Mexico. One is a Mayan actor from Campeche, another one is a Wixarika actor from Jalisco, and a Zapotec Mushe actress from Tehuantepec, Oaxaca. And it's all musicalized by a musician from the son jarocho tradition, Raimundo Pabon Lozano and Axel Calebo Ceguera León. And together they tell their personal stories intertwined with current sociopolitical issues, as well as retaking old myths and legends and making them pertaining to our days. This play was built in a collaborative manner. All of the stories and all of the content was a direct reflection of what the actors were thinking at the time of its creation. So when we joined together, we were responding to whatever was happening in Mexico at the time. And so, for instance, we talk about how large parts of the Mayan jungles are being torn down for the planting of genetically modified foods and the use of glyphosate, Roundup, that is really threatening the fertility of the soil. We also talk about how the third gender, the Mushe in Tehuantepec, faces a lot of massacres because of gender violence, as well as fighting against the traditional stereotype of what being a Mushe is. So we tackle a lot of different issues within this play. However, we do it in a way that is related to the individual first. So none of the actors are representatives of their culture. They simply share their reality, which is a reality shared by many people that come from their places of origin. I sought to look for ancient rituals and art forms, musical, visual, movement forms that could invigorate the Mexican theater scene and bring it closer to the origin of its people, which is, at the end of the day, the native peoples of Mexico. My job as a director was to guide my team towards a shared goal, which is finding a common language that respects everyone's individuality, that respects everyone's essence, that appreciates that essence, but at the same time is able to say we all speak from the same place, which is our own truth that we have. To build something like Andares, which brings together all these different stories, a lot of listening was very important. And it was a matter of exploring the physical, the verbal, the musical elements that each of them brought into the rehearsal period and seeing how they came together. It's all weaved there into this big tapestry, this mosaic of a piece, because it takes that old form and applies it without forgetting that these people are still living in a contemporary setting. When I've been to the towns and the villages of the people of my company, I get to learn about their world. And being both Mexican and American, not Mexican-American, but Mexican and American, I have these two worlds that I'm a part of. And so they get to see my Mexican side in Mexico, but there's so many things about me that I've learned and that have taken a part in me that are from over here. So to see those two worlds come together and have a dialogue, it's a way of also becoming closer with my team. And so with Andares and with Makuyeika, we're taking these very, very intimate stories from these very remote corners of Mexico and making them something which can be shared with people, from China or from Ann Arbor or from Mexico or Germany. And so to be able to bring those two ways of working together is something that's very special for me and that I love sharing with people. The music, I knew it had to be something that was at once very lively, but also have the capacity to go to very dark and subdued places. And there's something about the son jarocho that when you hear it, it can be either at the full throttle of the fiesta, and also in a very mournful and rustic place. And so when I heard Son Jarocho, I felt that this is the soundscape of the Mexico I have experienced this year, and I would like to see it be part of the piece. And thankfully we found a fantastic musician, Raimundo Tabonosano, who was with us the whole time of the residency, that initial residency when we created the piece. And so day by day by day, by simply listening and playing, he was able to formulate this beautiful accompaniment that is more than an accompaniment, it's the pulse of the play itself. In this hyper-connected and globalized world, hyper-consumeristic world, this is a play that sort of brings you down to a very distilled essence of what it means to be a human being trying to find your place in the world. The play is called Andares because Andares, it means walkways, pathways in life. And we all at some point ask ourselves, who am I, where am I going, where do I come from as well. And so we're moving along the play because I think people around the world are resonating to what indigenous people have to say.